goes. Let's get it. So, I'm about to hit the gym, man, and I figured I'd hop on here real quick while I sip on this coffee. Get the caffeine going. Get my energy going. Get the energy going. And get prepared for this workout. And you know, it's nothing. Well, I don't want to say it's nothing more, but I love watching bodybuilding and I love talking about bodybuilding before I hit the gym. It gets me primed up, it gets me ready, I'm motivated, I'm ready to go in and kill it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I want to start this topic off talking about something I was talking about on my last live, which was adaptability. Being able to adapt to changes that happen that's out of your control. Now I realize how important this skill is, but when I was thinking about it to myself, pondering over it, I came to a conclusion. It's like I had kind of like a slight epiphany. When things change, right? When the environment change, when you choose to change stuff, like when you're like, yo, I'm gonna change what's going on, that puts you in a position to grow, right? At the end of the day, if there's changes happening, things that you gotta adapt to, that's gonna put you in a position where you have to grow. And one thing that I really had to think about for myself was, I'm real good at adding changes to my own self and my own life for growth. Like, I'm real good at it. Actually, when I was young, when I was 17 years old, I knew right off, I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to change some stuff if I wanna be better, if I wanna grow. And whether I was rapping back then, whether I was playing basketball back then, whether I was dancing or whatever I was doing, I knew I was going to make some changes. I was going to have to learn new things, put work in, change. And when we start to embark a journey where we like, okay, bet, I want to change. I want to change, whether it's the physique, the body, the mind, the spirit, the heart, the soul. We are literally adapting to new things. And when it comes to bodybuilding, I know you're like, man, bring it together, man. Coach Kev, bring it together. When it comes to bodybuilding, essentially that's what you're doing. You're pushing to change and you're causing your body to adapt to resistance. When you're lifting weights, that's resistance. Why do you think they call it resistance training? Why do y'all think lifting weights is also called resistance training? It's because when you're pushing weights, when you're lifting, you're going against resistance. And you're causing your muscles to adapt to a new level of resistance. And what does that bring forth? It brings forth growth. So to tie it back to what I was saying earlier, when I was really thinking about this to myself, it hit me and I was like, man, I'm real good at adapting to changes that I intentionally bring forth. I'm talking about the changes where I'm like, yo, okay, I gotta start doing this, I gotta start doing that. If I wanna start running faster, okay, I'm gonna have to start jogging four days a week. I'm gonna have to jog. One day I'm gonna have to do like a nice tempo run where I'm just running and doing whatever I can. Another day I'm gonna have to, actually have a goal and try to run a little faster. Another day I might have to do like a recovery run, and then one day I may have to do like intervals and I might have to run for like 2 minutes, two minutes, and then, slow it down for a minute and then, run for 2 minutes. All of this is adapting to new things, doing new things, and allowing yourself to adapt so that you can grow. But here's the key. The adaptability that I was talking about yesterday was when things in your environment change. When you got environmental changes happening that you don't even really got control over. This is a different type of adaptability. This level of adaptability is a level that I'm not gonna say I'm terrible at, because I'm not. I'm from the hood. I grew up in the street. I literally was a young boy. I was a little jit in the trenches. I was living in the projects, bro, when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm from the trenches. So I had no other choice but to adapt to a lot of things that was happening in my environment that I had no control over. Yeah, it traumatized the hell out of me. Yeah, it scared the hell out of me. But hey, I still was able to maneuver, thank God. But my point is, I'm talking about other factors. I'm talking about factors that you're not even used to. I'm talking about when your environment changes and it's something new and you gotta adapt. I can't speak for everybody, but I think that part of adaptability is something that a lot of people probably can benefit from if they learn how to strengthen that muscle and grow. Because at the end of the day, that's what adaptability is growth. It's growth. How do we connect this to bodybuilding? Okay, I'm gonna break down both examples and perspectives that I just spoke on. The first one, self-intentional changes that we have to adapt to. That's starting a workout plan, starting a workout program, going to the gym, starting a diet. Like, you are literally putting yourself in a position where you're like, all right, bet, I gotta set my diet up. I need my macros. I need to know what my caloric intake needs to be so that I can reach set goal. I need to know how many times I need to hit the gym so that I can do whatever it is I need to do. What phase am I gonna be in? Okay, I'm gonna be in a muscle building phase, so that means I can't be training like how I was training before. I have to do new things. I gotta add new things so that I force myself to adapt to a new stimulus, to adapt to new resistance. That's the self-induced, intentional changes that you cause yourself to have to adapt to, where you practice adaptability. But then you got this other one, where stuff happening outside of your control or your environment. And how can you apply that to bodybuilding? Say you've been doing everything right. You got your macros on point. You got your workout program on point. Your training, everything is dialed in. Your training on point, your diet on point, your cardio is on point. Each week you hitting your goals. All your goals are getting hit. Boom, 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 boom. You're like, yo, I'm killing this shit. I'm losing my goal weight that I want to lose every week. And then, outside of your control, a hurricane comes. And not only does this hurricane destroy your house is destroyed from this hurricane. Also, all the gyms in town are closed down. A big majority of your city is out of commission. These are changes that are out of your control. And now it's time to adapt. And that's the type of ish that'll make any normal person be like, yo, what the fuck? What am I about to do? What am I gonna do in this situation? How do I adapt to this? I ain't got nowhere to work out and train at. My whole city shut down. I've been on track. I've been killing it, man. I'm hitting my goals week to week. I'm lowering my body fat, or I'm putting on muscle, or I'm putting on muscle and I'm putting on minimal fat. I'm on Pizoint right now. What do? This is how that can apply to bodybuilding, and this is a whole nother aspect of adaptability when it comes to bodybuilding. The truth would be in this would be a circumstance where you can grow. You can grow some strength that you didn't know you had. You can grow some persistence that you didn't know you had. You can grow some patience that you didn't know you had. You can grow some creativity that you didn't know you had. There's so many things that you can grow in a circumstance like that. That seems like a huge sense of crisis. But you can gain so much out of that, and you can adapt to it to whereas now you done grew, and if a situation like that happens again, you're ready and you're prepared for it. This is what I was talking about yesterday on my live when I was talking about how I need to strengthen that concept of adaptability. I need to get better at adapting to things when they happen and they're outside of my control and I had no idea of it happening, and it ain't never happened before in life for me. Because once we get to that point, that's what I mean about this fail-proof approach to bodybuilding. It ain't gonna matter what happens. You already ready. You already quick. You're already responsive and ready to counter whatever's coming at you in whatever situation is happening. So if we strengthen our adaptability, whether it's self-induced change or change that's outside of our control, I think that we have a better chance of consistently succeeding, especially with this bodybuilding stuff, man. And you know, me talking about this, right? Like a couple years ago, I want to say about 2-3 years, maybe 3 years ago, I really started getting serious about this concept of bodybuilding and wanting to be a pro bodybuilder one day. And that's why I'm not breaking my neck to go do a show. You know, I get people to hit me up a lot. You know, not a whole lot, but I'm talking about I run into people in person, and I have people online hit me up too, and they're like, yo, man, you doing your show yet, man? You did your show? And I'm like, nah, because I really, really want to kill it. I really, really want to do, I really, really want to do great. And I really want to prepare myself. And when I get on that stage, I really want to be different. Like, I really want to get on that stage and they're like, yo, who is this dude? He's an amateur, but who is he? I want people to want to invest and want to get to know who this nigga is that just stepped on the stage. And that's what I'm working toward. And stuff like that take time. It takes time. You know, like I said yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we live in a world that's pushing instant gratification, when the rewards and the prize is really in delayed gratification. Like that the shit that take you time to do. That's the most rewarding stuff in this realm. That's what I believe. It's the stuff that take you time to do. Take you time to achieve. Like say, okay, if I come to you and I'm like, yo, man, I need you to lose 15 pounds of fat. It's gonna take you time to do that. And I'm talking about actual fat. I'm not talking about like water weight, salt, sodium, because you done stop eating all that BS. I'm talking about legit, once you drop that water weight down, then we take 15 pounds from that. It's gonna take time to do that. You ain't losing no fit. You're not gonna lose 15 pounds of fat and maintain muscle in less than two to 3 months. It's not happening. That's my point. So I realize how important it is to take on this idea of delayed gratification, because I know the reward will be a lot more bigger, better, and greater. So that's why I'm taking my time. And this concept of adaptability, I want to learn this ish. I want to be good at this concept of adaptability with the things that happen outside of my control. So once I'm locked in and I'm actually competing, I'm on the stage, I got this flow of how I want to do my shows, I don't have any issues with staying consistent. So not only am I preparing my body, but I'm preparing my mind. I'm preparing my willpower. Like, I really want to kill this when I get up there. So I'm preparing for that. You know, I'm not this cat that just want to get on stage and be like, yeah, man, I did a bodybuilding show. Like, nah, I'm trying to make this a thing. I'm trying to go pro. You know what I'm saying? And in the natural, I want to stay in the natural organizations, but I'm looking to go pro. So that's going to take some work. And the organization that I'm going to, some of these cats, they be dipping and dabbing and be going off cycle before they show. I don't know. I done already heard about it. and I want to compete with them. I want to compete with them dudes. I'm cool with that because I know if I can go there and kill it, I'm like that. So I'm up for the challenge. Anyway, back to the main point of the video, y'all. Being able to adapt to the things that happen outside of your control will make you a fail-proof beast out here. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a fail-proof beast, especially when it comes to bodybuilding. So I'm strengthening this muscle. And I thank God for the circumstances and the things that I've been experiencing lately, because it's giving me great practice. Like, it's giving me practice. It's giving me practice. I'm on some Allen Iverson type ish, you feel me? Yo, Vividly, what's up, coach? Hey, yo, salute. What's good, Vividly? Good to see you back in the building, man. Salute. Matter of fact, you was here when I was talking about that too, when I was talking about adaptability. I just wanted to hop back on here while I sip on this coffee to really break down and kind of go in depth of what I was talking about. Because today when I was thinking about it, man, I do a lot of thinking, man. I'm an intellectual individual, man. I think a lot. And I don't just think about BS. Like my thoughts are they're very organized and structured. My mind don't be all over the place. It be structured. And, I was thinking about that. And I broke down those two concepts. I'm like, okay, there's self-induced change where you're literally purposely putting yourself in a position where you have to adapt. And then there's this sense of outside of your control, external environmental changes that you got to adapt to, that you don't even got no say-so or control over in terms of it happening. That's what I meant yesterday when I was saying, like, that's the adaptability I need to change. The first part, I done mastered that. Because I started working at that when I was like 16. Well, to be technical, I really started working at that when I was like 9. When I first decided like I really wanted to play basketball. And I was trash. I was trash. Yo, I remember. I was like 8, 9 years old. I want to say about 9, man, and I was trash. And I remember I made a vow to myself. I was like, yo, ain't nobody gonna be able to call me sorry no more. And I literally got nice. It took me about a solid year, man, of just going and shooting around and playing by myself, and then starting to play in games and stuff with other people. And next thing you know, I was all right. Then as I grew up and I started going through puberty, I got nice. Then I got real good. It was like that puberty gave me like a testosterone boost. That's what it was. I really started getting nice then. I wasn't the best in the world, but I damn for sure could hold my own. And people would speak about it, and people would say like, damn, yo, he could play, like he good. Like, so with that being said, since I was like 9, man, that's when I started working on this concept of, let me put myself in a position where I have to change and adapt. Let me purposely put myself in a position where, whether it's me going to shoot around every day, going to the court every day and shooting around, or jogging or running or doing A, B, and C, I start putting myself in this position where I had to change and I had to adapt, and that's what I did. I adapted. So I was always the worst at every sport, but it taught me the lessons of having to put in work and train until I got nice. Word up, man. Yeah, man, like when I was real young, yeah, I can relate to that. Because I'm gonna be real, like before we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, back when I was 8, 9, somewhere around there, back in '97, I'll never forget that year, yo. That was a strong year. a lot of changes happened for me. That some of it traumatized me, but I'll never forget '97 though. What songs came out and everything. But anyway, before we moved to Charlotte, I wasn't really playing sports like that. I wasn't really like playing basketball or football or nothing like that. I don't remember. I was more into like karate and like being a ninja and shit, acting like I was a ninja and like a Ninja Turtle and a Power Ranger and stuff like that. I was all into that, like karate and like martial arts and flipping and doing backflips. We was flipping off houses and everything. Like, I'll never forget that. But then when I moved to Charlotte, I got around some new kids, made friends, and it was all about sports, playing basketball, football, all this stuff. Boom, boom, boom. But here's a funny story too. I want to share this with y'all. Like, I wasn't playing no sports. So my older cousin, Drewski, I think I talked about him in another live that I did. My older cousin, Drewski, that taught me how to fight. I used to play basketball with him a little bit here and there. Man, I ended up going back home when I was 15 and hooping with my cousin, Drewski. He was like, yo, my cousin is nice. He was like, ain't nobody seeing my cousin. Like, and I literally was out there hooping, balling my whole butthole off, man. Like, I'm talking about, I was out there hooping, yo. He was like, yo, can't nobody touch my cousin, man. Like, he does this whole thing, just, talking. I'll never forget that, man. But that's when I knew. I'm like, yeah, man, I really am better, for real, like at basketball, But coming back to the main point of the video, because y'all know I can ramble. Those two different sets of adaptability, man. I'm 37 years old. And though I'm still young, I'm not old. Obviously, I'm old to somebody like my son age, 14, you know what I'm saying, a teenager or something. But, to the adults out there, 37 ain't old. But I've reached a stage in my life where I realized, like, damn, I really got to work on being able to adapt better to things that happen outside of my control. Whether it's mental, emotional, physical, all that. I'm a resilient dude, though, but I have to work on it. And I realized that right there, adaptability, having that as a trait, it's a powerful trait and attribute. And if you apply that to anything that you're doing, it really can be somewhat of a fail-proof thing for you. If you can adapt to the changes of the things that happen that's outside of your control. And put yourself in a position where you need to adapt and you purposely bring in changes so that you adapt and grow, because that's what I'm learning. Adaptability is growth. So it's a really, really good thing. Like, I had to change my perspective on it. I'm like, yo, like, adaptability is a really good thing. And that's what I want to pass on to y'all. Like, it could suck, man. Don't get me wrong. It could suck. When we're in certain positions, that's outside of our control and it's not the best, it's stressful, it's anxiety filling, is some situations may even be confusing. What follows with that, when we adapt to those situations, is growth. And that's the reward. That's the reward. That's the reward. That's what I mean by delayed gratification. But now, in a sense of optimism, I'm starting to look at adaptability even with things that's outside of your control as a good thing too, like in a sense of growth and delayed gratification. Even with situations that's outside of your control, having this mindset of delayed gratification can be beneficial too. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not 100% against instant gratification, because obviously there's gonna be certain things that aligns very well with, instant gratification. But the stuff that I'm talking about that really, really matters, that's bigger, greater, on a larger scale, it's not happening instantly, man. So you can go ahead and cancel Christmas if that's what you're banking on. Most things ain't gonna happen instantly. No matter what the world tell us, no matter what the media tell us, the social media tell us, most things ain't gonna happen instantly, man. The things that you really need, now. So, with that being said, how does this all align with bodybuilding, bro? It's because bodybuilding takes time. Bodybuilding takes time. Building lean muscle takes time. Lean muscle tissue, body fat free mass takes time to build. And it's gonna take these types of concepts to really make that happen. Being able to adapt to new things that's gonna help you level up. Being able to adapt. And that's really it, man. I mean, keep it all the way 100 with y'all. That's really the basis of it. You know, when I was young, man, I had to adapt to a lot of things, man, that was outside of my control. And I think that once I started to get older and as I grew up and as I became an adult, and I was free from a lot of those things, you know, I think that I think I was a bit fatigued when it came to having to adapt to things that's outside of your control, because I had to try to adapt to so much when I was younger that I just started kind of saying, like, man, F it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, F it. I remember, man. I remember. Like, I remember being young, like around the time when my son was born, or when the mother of my child was pregnant with my son, or, you know, after a couple years after he was born, and like, I had felt so fatigued by all that stuff that I had went through, that like I really just was at a state that I didn't even understand back then. I really was depressed, for real. I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all. I was going through depression and didn't even know, or didn't even understand it. But it is what it is, man. But you know, it put me in a position where I was like, F it. You know, F it. Forget it. And then, you know, I just kept grinding, man. You know, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I started looking toward God. I really had to humble myself, and honestly, that humbled me, and I ain't had no other choice but to go to God. And God helped me in a way that I had an experience that I had never experienced before in my life. And it put so much it's power, like the Holy Spirit, man. It's like power and like passion and like zeal and like hope. I was boosted by that, man. You know, I was boosted by that, and it surged me in such a way that I was experiencing things that I never experienced before. I was thinking in ways I never thought before. My mind was clearer. You know, it's like my mind was working faster. I started thinking on different levels, thinking more deeply. You know, meditating, and like I just had this sense of like a awakening, man, where I was like, yo, it's more to life, man. What am I doing? And I believe God gave me that. That's my belief. You know what I'm saying? I believe God blessed me with that because I needed it. And I was praying for it. I was praying for it. I'll never forget when the mother of my child left. The first time we had a little apartment or whatever, and I was in that darn apartment by myself, man, and I'm gonna get real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. I'm a authentic type person. I keep it real. And I just hit my knees, bro. I was just bawling and crying, man, in the apartment by myself, like yo, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with me. You know, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to do the right thing, but it's not working. And no lie, God know I'm telling the truth. About a week after that, because I'm talking about, I was crying, man. I was just praying to God to help me, yo, for real. Like, I was legit bawling, crying, praying that God help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's up. And I ran into a pastor. He seen me walking. His name is Pastor Mark Everhart. He's still preaching too, where I was living at. And I was walking. I had to walk all the way home because I missed the last bus to get home, and it was gonna be a nice long walk. I probably was gonna have to walk for about 2 hours. And I never forget, I was hitting that corner, and he was over at this car wash washing this church van, and he seen me. He was like, hey. He's like, what's going on? I guess God placed it on his heart to talk to me. He was like, what you doing? Where you going? I was like, I'm going home. I was like, I missed the bus. He was like, come here, man, come here. So I walked over there, and he's like, hey man, what's up? What's your name? I was like, I'm Kevin. He told me his name. I'm Mark Everhart. I preach at such and such church. Which you go to a church? And pretty much we just went through a little back and forth and all that. And he said, hey man, I want you to come to my church. So I was like, all right, bet. He offered me a ride. Boom, got a ride home. And during the ride, we was just talking about a lot of stuff. I was kind of telling him, my story, and he was telling me his story and talking to me about God and about Christ and like the whole nine, man. And my life changed after that. I ended up meeting somebody that ended up being my best friend, but we ain't friends. We don't really talk no more. But for that season, man, that was my best friend, man. I met him, and my life definitely changed after that. But it is what it is, man. The sense of adaptability, man. A lot of the times, man, we need God to help us to adapt. Certain situations that's outside of our control, man. We need help. We need God. We need help from a higher source than us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the stuff that I done made it through, the things that I've been able to get through and make it through, and man, I give it all to God, man. God is the reason why I've been able to make it through those things. God is the reason why I'm not in jail right now, or dead, or out here in these streets, man. Because that's where I was headed before I seen that pastor. I already was scheming in my head. I was already trying to think of a plan. Matter of fact, while I was walking home, I was literally thinking about how I wanted to start selling drugs again in that new town where I was living, and I was literally planning out how I was gonna do it. That's how good God is, man. I was literally planning a plan while I was walking. I was gonna spend that whole 2-hour walk on me coming up with a plan on how I could come up off of selling drugs. So talking about this whole adaptability thing, man, I'm gonna be real, man. Like, if it wasn't for God, man, I don't think I would have been able to adapt to anything. And even with bodybuilding, man, you're gonna need, sometimes you might need help. I'm telling you. It's like think about the crisis I just said. Think about the example I gave. Like, a hurricane come, destroy your house, destroy everything. You ain't got nothing. You don't even have a gym to go work out at. Just think about it, y'all. But look, it was fun. I'm about done with this coffee. I'm about to go hit, what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna hit shoulders, traps. Yeah, shoulders, traps. My arms are pretty good right now. I'm gonna hit shoulders, traps, and maybe calves. I'm gonna see how I feel. Probably calves. But I'm out, y'all, man. It was nice. If y'all rock with this style of lives, let me know. I'll holler at y'all, man. Comment below. I'm out.